Greetings, Lighthead here, and today we're backstepping to a simpler and better time, the era of the Silver Age of comics, where the outfits were crude, the storylines spectacular, and the criminals lame. Not all of them, but let's face it, when you're being pressured to churn out a comic book every week, you're going to scrape the bottom of the barrel for ideas. And these are some doozies. I speak, of course, of Batman's lamest villains. And what a roster today. Don't say I never give you anything. Given how iconic and world-famous old Bat's enemies are, it's no surprise that we'd get some ones too. But I won't be including the sort of bad guy who's just, a guy. If it's basically just a person with no costume or who has no bizarre MO or who's just a little smarter or stronger than average, I don't see the point. No, this video aims to cover actual superpowered scum, not pretenders. And here they are, ladies and gents, so let's dive on in. First up is the Snowman. Get this for creepy. His mother, a human being, banged an abominable snowman. That's it. Gross. Next we have the Bouncer, not the Greek-themed and equally lame jumping superhero, but a guy in what is essentially a rubber suit that bounces off stuff. Sounds more kinky than crimey if you ask me, and is lame. Following on we have Calculator. No, not the Calculator. Just plain old Calculator. A sad guy with a fancy suit that analyzes an opponent's moves. A bit like Taskmaster, but lamer. We also have Lord Deathman, a villain who apparently couldn't settle on a name, so instead just mashed two names together, and is a Japanese crime lord who lives in Gotham for some reason and wears a sort of skeleton costume. He can fake death and heal a bit, and that's all, folks. Lame. Next up, Dr. Death. Another deathy-themed dude and a bit of an OG villain, one of the first recurring enemies Batman had to beat up. He's big on bioweapons and likes to spray deadly stuff in people's faces that usually takes far too long to work to be effective. And is lame. We also have Mr. Camera. Yep. He's got a camera helmet and takes photos with it. How intimidating. For offensive abilities, he shines a hot light at people. Oh, and apparently he could use the camera flash to hypnotize people. But he never attempted to use it on Batman. Because he's a moron, evidently. Following this is Ten-Eyed Man, a guy who, get this, went blind in Vietnam and a doctor rejigged his optic nerves. So now he sees through his fingers. Somehow. Let's hope he never has to give himself a colonoscopy. Next is Captain Calamity, who's gone by a few names, and none of them are particularly relevant. He's a nightclub bouncer who can hypnotize people, and yep, that's it. Then we have Cyclotronic Man, aka Bag of Bones, who is radioactive and shoots radioactivity, but who ages at an incredible rate when in bony form, which is kind of a huge deterrent from using his abilities, so what's the point, really? And here is the Eraser, a dude who wears the end of a pencil on his head. Yeah. The Eraser can dissolve forensic evidence, but, so can other stuff. And does he have to bend over and rub his head on the floor to rub out footprints? What a weirdo. Next up, Dr. No-Face. A lot of dumb doctors in the Batverse, who erased his own face like an idiot. Why would a machine designed to heal scars remove a guy's face? Who would even want it to be able to do that? And how does he see and breathe? Lame. We also have King Tut, a university professor who got hit in the head and woke up thinking he's King Tut. That's it. I know I said I wouldn't be including lame guys who just wear an outfit, but I have for two key reasons. Firstly, because it's my video and I'll do what I want. And secondly, because he's so lame, he just makes me laugh. Bless him. And this is Magpie, an oddball who only steals jewels named after birds. So, not got a lot to steal, really. Her fingernails grow a bit like the lame version of Sabretooth from X-Men Origins Wolverine, and the less said about that garbage, the better. And Bat Zorro is another freak created by the Joker, who wears his utility belt upside down. Not sure how he takes things out without dropping them, but then he's also a moron who calls himself the world's worst detective, so who cares, because he's so lame. Or what about Catman? See what they did there? He's a guy who's actually pretty tough, but whose whole image is ruined because he dresses like a cat. And yes, that's a lot lamer than dressing like a bat. Also, Catwoman ripoff. Lame. Or Anarchy. A woke mummy's boy who doesn't like the government. He's supposed to be highly intelligent, but apparently not so intelligent as to spell anarchy correctly, or not get his ass kicked by Batman every time they meet. How about Penny Plunderer, a guy with an effeminate name who, get this, throws pennies at people. Yep, he can also make people slip on pennies. I mean, okay, it's supposed to be kind of a preternaturally good throw, but really? I mean, that's all they could come up with? He doesn't even have a costume. Lame. Why not try Zodiac Master, whose costume is covered with zodiac symbols that separate and turn into weapons like a ram? Yes, a ram. How lame is that? Or Amber Kadiri, a strangely white-looking Indian woman who also has lame fingernail claws. There's a lot of those floating around the Batverse, almost as many as there are hypnotists. Maybe Kite Man, a guy who flies on a kite. I mean, my god, lame, but perhaps not as lame as Rainbow Monster? A volcano-based oddity that drains the colour out of things to replenish its power. Yes, the colour. It's powered by colour. Dear Lord. A solid lineup of rubbish villains, I'm sure you'll agree. But for this list, I have decided that the worst, the stupidest, the lamest of them all is one who you'll perhaps recognise from the Lego Batman film, because I won't say movie! And perhaps the easiest villain that Batman ever beats to a pulp. Lords and ladies, I present to you the Condiment King. That's right. Yes, folks, a man so lame he actually shoots ketchup at people. Or mustard. Quite an issue should you happen to go into anaphylactic shock every time you eat a sandwich, but otherwise a complete waste of time. He also appears to wear Y-fronts over his trousers. And there we have it. The lamest of the lame. Ultimately, I'd advise taking a mental note of these lame excuses for enemies and ensuring that, no matter what your field of expertise, your job, hobbies, or whatever it is that you do, you ensure that you put more than a fraction's worth of effort into it. Otherwise, you may find yourself forever laughed at by those that see your work further down the line. As my boy Joey Swole will tell you,
you need to do better.
You can spray me with sauce, Joey. So take the time, make the effort, and ensure your own healthy legacy, or else risk being mocked for all eternity. Like and subscribe.